Hello and welcome to another episode of How to Be a Great Player. Today we are looking at a question that Sir Slaughter sent in. His question is how to get the most out of your fellow players and their characters. Now, it's a very interesting question, and I have 6 steps that I think are what is needed in order to get the most out of your fellow players and their characters. And it starts with a conversation. Number 1, have a conversation with your fellow player. Ask them what they would be keen to do to explore a relationship with your character. Literally, hey, let's have our characters have some kind of relationship to help build the story a little bit. Now, I'm not talking about necessarily a sexual relationship. Relationships exist in many forms. There's adversarial, romantic, there's a mentor style relationship, there's a wingman or partner in crime style relationship, and there's the best friends forever type of relationship, and I'm sure there are many more that you might think of. So by having a conversation with your fellow players saying, let's build something, let's come together, it's not a surprise to your fellow players. What it will also do is it will get them to start to think, well, actually, how do we go about doing this? How do we do it? Of course, we do this in real life all the time. Most of us, we film relationships. So step 2, of course, is to then, in the game, have your character start on the journey towards building into this relationship. If you're going with an adversarial relationship, have the character start to disagree with the character that you've decided to work with. Have your character argue a lot. Perhaps even have your character threaten. It's my way or your way. You don't know what you're doing. Don't push it too far, though. There's adversarial and there's adversarial. This is not adversarial insofar as I want to kill you. This is adversarial insofar as I can sing higher than you can. I can climb faster than you can. I can run further than you can. I am, in actual fact, just better than you are in every regard. And I'll prove it. So the adversarial role is about pushing the character to the next level. What this is going to do is it's going to force your fellow player to push their character to the next level. They're going to try and outcompete. Make sure, of course, this doesn't interfere too much with the actual game itself. You don't want to sacrifice the game for your relationship between you and a fellow character because you have other players at the table with you. But it's something to help motivate in those down times when things aren't necessarily all tooth and nail and desperate survival moments. An adversarial role that works very well, for example, is something like Legolas and Gimli from The Lord of the Rings. There was a certain playfulness to their competitiveness. A romantic relationship, of course, is a romantic relationship, and that's something for you to explore in the ways that you would do it. Of course, one doesn't want to sit at the table whilst you describe how you lick the inner thigh of the she-orc and slowly take your fingers and slide them. We don't care. We really don't care. That's not what it's about. It's about seeing how the relationship starts. And you're going to see what happens in step 4, where it's going to change that quite dramatically. So this is small steps. We're not talking overnight your character suddenly falls in love with the fellow character just because you've decided that that's what's going to happen. No, this is about working it slowly. Remember, this is role-playing. We've got plenty of time. We've got days. We've got months to explore things. The mentor role is perhaps one that's a little bit more interesting to explore in terms of it being a kind of a romantic relationship where one of the characters looks upon the other as a father figure. This allows all kinds of conflicts to come through. I said you shouldn't go with that Vulcan into that bar and you did anyway. It's unwise for us to mingle with them. They're evil, or whatever the case in point might happen to be. The mentorship role requires one of you to be a little bit more mature and to step back from conflict and say, well, how can I use this to demonstrate to my young Padawan that he needs to be better, that he needs to explore more and think with his head first before charging in and just cutting everything up. The wingman, partner in crime, of course, is a very humorous way to play and brings in a great opportunity for the party to have some light moments. The wingman, the comrade in arms, are frequently egging each other on to do things that they shouldn't do, and of course then suddenly they end up in mild trouble. Merry and Pippin from The Lord of the Rings is a great example of that. So the wingman is someone who will support one another and stick to one another. Even if the one starts lying, the other one will try and back it up, and typically cock it up because they don't know where their partner's going, because there was no kind of planning done beforehand. And of course, Best Friends Forever is literally a support group. This is where you turn when you need guidance, but when you don't really want answers, you just want a sympathetic ear. You want some kind of support. And that's really where the best friends come in. And if you watch any kind of romantic comedy, there's always the best friend who is overlooked as a romantic partner because they're the best friend. They do everything together. They won't lie with one another. They will try and prevent each other from causing deceptions by saying, well, that's not actually what happened, is it? Time to be strong, tell the truth. We're here to support you. We love you, but you must tell the truth. So it's really up to you to decide how to do that. So then in step 2, you're now starting to explore what those mean. And how is your character going to start building into it? What are the aspects of your fellow player's character that your character finds admirable or attractive or in some way would motivate your character to become the wingman, the best friend, the mentor, or whatever the case might be in this particular circumstance. After a couple of sessions, though, once things have started to go, it's time to take on step 3, which is to sit with your fellow player again and say, well, are you happy with how it's progressing? Are you happy with the way that our adversarial nature is starting to come through? The rest of the characters are starting to see that when I kill an orc, you kill 2 orcs, then I have to kill 3 orcs, then you risk your life to kill 4, and then it just escalates and it's growing and building and the witty banter. Are you happy with the way the romance is progressing? Were we in the, oh, I don't know phase? Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. Are you happy? When the player says, yes, I'm happy, that's fantastic, because the very next session, you're going to flip the table. Step 4 is literally turning it on its head. If it was a mentor role, the mentor should berate the apprentice. If it's best friends, the best friends should have a falling out. If it's a romance, the romance should suddenly stop as your character falls in love with somebody else in a very lustful kind of relationship. You should do this without letting your fellow player know that you're going to do it. What this is going to do is it's going to force your fellow player to either engage or to role play in some kind of way, whether it's an aggression or defiance, whether it's an anger. It should elicit some kind of emotion. And that's the whole point of this very long answer to how do you get the most out of your fellow players. It's about engaging with them, making plans, working out story relationships, working out things that are happening outside of the narrative of the game, because that's the game master's role. Yours here is to build relationships, is to make sure that they remain dynamic. And they don't remain dynamic if you simply start, oh, we're going to be mentor and apprentice, right? Episode 1, moment 1, yes, my master, you're my master and I'm your apprentice. It doesn't work like that. You've got to build in as many of the pitfalls and the antagonisms that happen. No friendship is ever plain sailing. There are always moments where things don't work out. Relationships are fraught with that kind of thing. And it's something that you might have to bring to the table if it isn't naturally coming through. Step 4 is where you purposefully do that if it hasn't already started. It's about making sure that you keep your fellow players on their toes and about making them have to engage with you. It really will up their game. And however they play it, they might not know what you're doing, so instead of role-playing, they kind of become cold and cagey. Step 5, talk to them again. And this is where you say, right, did you see what I did there, where I caused your character to feel betrayed, or this or that or the next thing? And that's because I really want to explore this idea, or I think this will be really cool for us to go through, and then get their feedback. Let them then take the next step in the next couple of sessions. It sounds very premeditated, doesn't it? But it's about making sure that the two of you are on a similar kind of page, but you've both got enough latitude in how you interpret the plan that it's entertaining and that it's fun for you. And by virtue of that, it will make it just that much more fun for everybody else. And as soon as they see that, they're going to say, how did you do it? Well, we watched this video and these are the steps you need to take to do the same thing. Once though you have got to the point where, and this is step 6, once you've got to the point where you feel that you are in the relationship, you've got the mentor-apprentice thing down and you've done the conflict and you've been going for 6 months now it's time to start all over again, only this time with a different character. And you do the same process. Every single time, take it to the player, take it to the table. Back to the player, back to the table, back to the player, back to the table. And it's this dialogue that happens where out of game you're going, oh, wouldn't it be so cool if our two characters decided in the next session, because we want them to have this wingman type of relationship, what if they're going to try and steal the treasure before the rest of the party gets there? Wouldn't that be so cool? And we could put inside the chest a daisy to represent that they were too slow out in the meadows and we got here first. Oh yeah, I love that idea. Let's do it. It gives you out of game plotting and planning opportunities. The important thing is that these are stories that have nothing to do with the main plot line. These are not you figuring out how you're going to get into the dungeon or figuring out how you're going to open that chest with this skill or with that check. I've got plus 40 to this and I've got minus 12 to that. It'll be easy. This is about working out how to make your story of your character more entertaining. And because you have to have somebody else from the party doing it, you are helping create a better player in your fellow players, and you are really lifting them up to your level. And because this is something that happens to all of us, regardless of whether we're Klingons or whether we're Klendathu, bug insects, or whether we are orcs or trolls or kobolds. We have these interrelationship stories and they are universal. No one can say, oh, I don't know how to do that. Unless you've been living under a rock and you have never experienced some kind of best friend or mentor type environment, you know how to do it. It's just about thinking back and working on it. Because like I said, this is a 3-month, a 6-month kind of play. It's not 2 sessions and it's done. So pace yourself. You've got plenty of time. Well, Sir Slaughter, I hope that that answers your question on how to get the most out of your fellow player. It boils down to simply chatting to them out of game to do stuff in game that has nothing to do with the game. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave your comments and questions below and your answers to some of these as well, because I don't know everything and I will be the first to admit I am frequently wrong. And your comments will help us to learn and to grow and to be better. Until next time, happy playing.